Hey everyone, it is Ian and Kimberly Rhodes, excited to bring to you our limited series called Impact.
We are so fortunate to be able to speak to some really incredible people locally here in Los Angeles and throughout the nation, different thought leaders, all with different professions.
Yeah, and we're asking them those tough questions during COVID-19, just what is challenging them? How are those challenges having them step up in their businesses and personal lives to pivot for success and give you tips and tricks?
We hope you enjoy today's interview.
Okay, we are recording and we are here with Christina Xenos.
Hello.
Hi.
Kimberly, I'm
Hi.
excited to talk to you. You're in New York City right now, is that right?
I am, well, I'm in Harrison, which is a little bit outside the city. So
Okay.
this is
Well, kind of introduce yourself because we've gotten to personally experience, all of your expertise in cooking. And I mean, I've known you a long time because we rode the bus to school together in elementary school. And so, however long ago that was, we've all gotten to do exciting things in our
seems like
lives since
yesterday.
then. But I think we're living our most exciting days
Yep.
today.
Yes. Yes.
And so, tell us, about you and kind of what your experience is, and obviously, when we ask people just kind of what their main challenges have been during this time and how everyone's kind of living and experiencing life and work.
Yes. So I'm Christina Xenos. I'm a personal chef and a cookbook author. I'm based in Los Angeles. And when I'm personal chefing, I'm cooking for a few clients every week. I do meal prep in their homes. A lot of them have special diets or they're immunocompromised and they need me to come in and do the grocery shopping and cook for them. On the recipe development side, I co-authored a cookbook that came out in 2017 called Oppa, the Healthy Greek Cookbook. My family is
So good, by the way. I remember you gave us a copy. It's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, so my family is Greek and I specialize in Greek and Mediterranean food. But I cook for my clients, I cook, pretty much whatever they need. The service I provide is very tailored to my clients. So I'm not working out of a commercial kitchen, mass producing food. I'm really tailoring it to, what they want to eat. I develop recipes for them for their specific diets, and we cook what they need. So that's what I was doing prior to this. And I guess with the challenges, I was in Italy this winter, so I watched
Good timing.
COVID-19. Yeah, I really hit that really well. I watched it all develop, and for me, I take LA's shelter-in-place orders very seriously. So I have discontinued cooking in my clients' homes right now, as long as our shelter-in-place orders are in order. I believe that the only way to really mitigate the spread of this is to limit our time outside shopping and not to social distancing and quarantining, I think, is just the best way to limit the spread. And I know we all have cabin fever and we really want to get out. And I know in LA this week it's going to be in the 90s and everyone's going to want to be out. But the sooner we all stay at home, the sooner this will all pass and we can get on with our normal lives. And I want that more than anything. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I saw on your website and I was just wondering, is it something new that you're doing or have you always done, I saw virtual cooking classes?
So that is new. So that's one way that I've pivoted during this time. I teach a lot of in-home personal cooking classes with people. So before I left last winter, people sign on for, either one class or a whole series of classes. Mm-hmm. And I teach them specific recipes they want to know, or for this specific client before I left, we did a series of 5 classes so she could get more familiar with her kitchen, her appliances, mm-hmm. and everyday food that she could make for herself and her husband. And we did grocery store tours and then cooking and, everything she wanted to learn and the recipes she wanted to learn. So now I'm taking that online and we're all home and we're cooking more than we've ever been cooking before. So I'm working with people one-on-one and in groups, and we can, do specific recipes people want to learn, or strategy like meal prepping, how to cook, many meals at once. You have them throughout the week, how to make one grocery shopping trip extend, things like that.
Well, I know once the dust settles and things go back to normal and people go back to their busy lives, I know for us personally, meal prepping basically changed our daily routine. 100%. From the budgeting to the calories we were taking in, to
the amount of time to figure out where do you want to eat today.
And we would eat for 20 minutes back at work, and we would come home earlier because we didn't take that long lunch.
Right.
So all of those ideas are fantastic, which I know you have. Tell us a little bit and I know in offering these virtual cooking and everything, you've been traveling the world to pick up in different places around to influence all of your cooking. But tell us a little bit about some of your travels and why you do that.
Yeah, so recently I heavily researched Greek food. I'm working on a new Greek cookbook. But what I wanted to do this winter was experience more of the Mediterranean and all different parts. So I started in Portugal, and I went to Lisbon and Porto, and then I jumped over to Italy, where I was in a cooking and food systems program at the Annatasca Lanza Cooking School, where we really got in depth with farming practices and recipes and cooking in the context of the Mediterranean. So we studied everything from wheat cultivation and production, answering questions like why stone mill flour might be more healthful to you than regularly produced AP flour, talking about the variety of citrus. Sicily in general, they have 200 types of almonds in Sicily.
Only?
California is the largest producer of almonds in the world, and we only have, I think, 3 types that we farm there.
I was going to say, I know one.
So just the importance of biodiversity and farming in that respect. So for me, I've always cooked. I went to culinary school where I learned, the tenets of cooking, but I wanted a fuller picture so I can advise my clients as to maybe why, they're having gluten intolerant issues. And that might not actually be the gluten. It might be the way the wheat is farmed and the wheat is produced, and just things like that. So I really wanted to open it up and understand the Mediterranean and cooking in general in more of a full picture type of way. So I got to spend, I guess I was in Sicily for about 8 weeks, and traveling all over and eating all kinds of delicious food and seafood and wine, and it was really fantastic.
Well, I know those experiences are incredible to have, because for us that we have busy schedules, for you to just be able to tell someone all of that knowledge and just give it to a direct, and we don't have to do that travel.
Right.
As much as we all love to take 8 weeks and have that experience, what about the Mediterranean diet? I mean, I read stuff from time to time, just how amazing that is for our body and longevity. Is there anything you'd share about what it is that you pinpoint with that?
Yeah, I mean, a few very simple things that I think we can apply, and that is focusing on, plant-based foods and vegetables. So limiting, just the amount of meat that we eat. And historically, when they started the Mediterranean diet, they went into these different, communities where people were living, and they had, they had extreme longevity. There are the blue zones, and then there are just, regular, places in the Mediterranean. So these people, due to extreme poverty, they didn't have the luxury of eating meat multiple times a week. If they ate meat, it was, for a celebration or a feast day or something like that. And they heavily relied on fish and plants and things that they foraged. And I know we're not all, in our backyards foraging, but we can, I like to tell people to do the 80-20 rule. And when you look at your plate, have 80% of it be, something grain and plant-based, and then 20% being if you're eating meat, your meat, and kind of go from there. The other, I think, main ingredient of the Mediterranean diet is olive oil, and that's, really, it's good extra virgin olive oil. It doesn't mean that you have to spend a ton of money on it, but just, make sure it's extra virgin, look at the label, make sure that it's produced in a way where you see the produced by date, the expiration date, so it's not industrially produced, because all the healthy benefits, the antioxidants that you're getting in the olive oil, those evaporate when your olive oil is industrially produced. You want to just make sure that you're cooking with eating extra virgin olive oil that is actually extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
So we have the time to check our cabinet now.
Now we do. Now, we all have a lot more time.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, that's good advice. And then I have a question for you in regards to meal prep.
Yes.
Because I have been trying to do that over the past several months. We've been doing pretty well at that. But what do you suggest? How many days do things last? And do you put things in the freezer as well?
Yeah, I try when I cook for my clients. I think our FDA says to, kind of keep things in your refrigerator for no longer than 3 or 4 days.
Right.
I think a lot of us are comfortable with maybe a 5th day.
Yeah.
When I go into my clients' homes, I do a variety of things. So I'll do, if I'm making 5 meals for them, I'll do 2 that I can put in the freezer and 3 that we can keep in the refrigerator. So things that freeze well are soups and stews, like veggie burgers, or on my website, I have a really great recipe for salmon burgers that you can freeze really easily. Meatballs, turkey meatballs, regular meatballs freeze really easy. I always have a bag of them in my freezer just for like a quick snack or a quick meal. So things like that always freeze well.
I love your videos on your website, because it's so great in the beginning how it shows everything that you need.
Yes.
That's the worst part, is putting together the grocery list. So they're super easy to follow.
Yeah, it puts everything out there. It links back to my website where everything is. And yeah, it's just, I forget that I'm very organized in my head, and I always, have my list ready to go when I go to the grocery store, and it's all strategy for me. But I forget that before I did this, I, kind of would take an hour and wander around my supermarket trying to figure out what I needed. And it's better when you have a plan. And especially now, when we're sort of limited as to how many people can be in our grocery stores, we really want to, get in and get out. I think my smoke alarm is going off.
That makes it exciting.
You know what? Ours went off just a few days ago too.
I think we had too many stove burners on.
Yeah.
Someone must be cooking downstairs.
That's funny. Is someone always cooking? Probably.
Yeah. So I'm sheltering in place with my husband's family. So there are 8 of us in the house, and there's someone always, in the kitchen and cooking and burning things. And
they're probably meeting you in the kitchen right now.
I took a placemat. I took a very sturdy placemat and just waved that.
So that's funny, because I cook for a lot of people who have never used their appliances in their home. So I'll go in and I'll turn on their oven, and it's never been used or very rarely used, and it immediately sets off all the smoke detectors. So I'm always with fanning. It's nothing that I've burned. It's just the oven being on.
Yeah, sure.
That's so funny.
Of course, you're not burning anything.
I'm not burning.
Well, I think, the pros and cons of the safe at home order and really staying home has, shown resilience on a lot of people's parts to streamline certain aspects, change things up. And what do you think for you has, what have you benefited most, or do you think people would, benefit from what you've experienced?
Yeah, I think it's not, I don't want to say forced, but it's inspired people to be more resourceful with what they have. So, and me as well. So the first thing I did when I returned from Italy was I had to quarantine at my in-laws' old house, and I couldn't leave because I had just traveled back from Italy. I couldn't leave to go to the grocery store, so I was reliant on the family and everything to to bring me what I needed. But the first thing I did at their house was I went through their freezer and I did a huge inventory of everything that was in there.
Yeah.
And it was really long. It was, I mean, there was a meatloaf, there was like 4 pounds of chicken, there was the pork roast, there was a lot of bacon. They love their bacon. So my strategy with that was to eat through everything in that freezer and then supplement it with whatever fresh produce they could give me or that I could get shipped to me. And that's how, for that first 14 days, that's what I did. And I think that's what people are really doing now. And I think that's great. I think we should all, freeze what we're not going to eat so we don't waste food, and then, utilize what we've frozen and what, we have in our pantry. I also think, and as we've seen, people are baking a lot more. So
everyone's a baker now.
Everyone included. I mean, we did a lot of like wild yeast baking in Sicily. So I was excited to come back and experiment with that. And I actually have time now to do that. So I've been making sourdough bread every week and, experimenting with different proportions and types of flour, which has been really exciting. But what's funny is the recipes on my website, people would always go there for like low carb and healthy recipes. And in the last 2 weeks, everyone was looking for bread and cookies. And which I think is just, we all need comfort and we all want that. And I completely get it. So.
One thing we discovered when you start baking, how temperatures have to be pretty exact. And we found out that our oven was about 50 degrees off from the dial. So we got a temperature for our control or thermostat for our oven.
Because I knew I could not have messed up the lemon bars that bad.
Yeah. When I go into someone's house, I have an oven thermometer that I bring with me so I can see where they're up. I always say this, every oven is different. Even when I take the temperature of an oven, there are always hot spots, and it's always good to find out where your hot spots are.
So you should change the position of the thermometer.
Depending on your oven. So some ovens are pretty consistent, but one of my clients a newer client I had before I left, I cooked a sheet pan full of squash for her, but on the upper left, that was her hot spot. And that part of the tray was definitely more cooked than the rest of it. It's pretty substantial. So sometimes you need to get your oven professionally calibrated if it hasn't been. And the other time it can just be your oven and you just need to kind of
professionally calibrated. I like that.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking we should move our thermometer it's right now in the front of the oven. We should probably put it more towards the center of the oven.
Yeah, you can change it up. See where
change it up.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really awesome. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yes,
and this is a little short and sweet. We could probably talk a long time on this, but we're going to definitely provide links to your site, to your recipes, and
to your cookbook.
And I know the video has been king in everyone getting anything, every word they want out to the world. And it's so cool that you're utilizing all that and setting that up for people. And that's probably one thing, don't you think, that's probably changed for you, that you'll now, even coming out of this, and people are able to be around each other, you can contact so many more people and help so many more people just with video and virtual.
Absolutely. It's really important. I mean, I love my clients and I love cooking for them, but I mean, from my heart, I really believe that people should be able to feed themselves in a healthy way, which is why I do the videos and why I post my recipes online. And I think that's super important to be able to, don't rely on processed food if you can. Just learn, very basic recipes and very basic ways to keep yourself healthy and keep your family healthy. So
yeah, and the videos that you do are great because it's very personal, but I really love how you speed everything up. Because I know for a lot of people, I don't know myself, I like to get to the point. I like to see what's going to be in this, what it's going to entail, what utensil do I have to utilize, or Kimberly has to utilize.
No, I was going to say, I think we're definitely going to be signing up for a virtual class, and then you can utilize some of the utensils.
Yeah, I would love that, you guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, any finishing thoughts, Christina, you'd like to share?
Sure. I'm going to be doing some Instagram lives periodically. I did one last week. My family's Greek, so we celebrated Easter yesterday, and I was baking a lot last week. So I made some cookies, and we did an Instagram live for how to make that recipe. And once I get back to LA and I get into my own kitchen, I'll probably be doing Instagram lives at least once a week. So people can follow me there and join in. And then I just, like I said, I think it's really important that we limit our time out at the markets. I also know that there's a lot of scarcity happening in the major supermarkets. So I've listed on my website just this morning some local to LA and some national resources for ingredient delivery, pantry delivery, so you can limit your time out and get what you need.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome advice.
Very good.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Christina.
you.
This has been a pleasure. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're staying safe, you're staying in, everyone's healthy.
Yes.
Same for you guys.
And let's all come out of this cooking.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.